Welcome back to Close Up. News 9 was just in New York City for the beginning of the United Nations high-level meetings. Senator Jeanne Shaheen was there, too, in her capacity as ranking member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. We spoke one-on-one with her about her new role in international politics. Senator, you hold probably the most powerful foreign policy position nationally that any Granite Staters had since probably Governor Wynett when he was the ambassador to the UK. So take us through. I know, right? Right. I went through the list, right? But so take us through with what you do with that power and that ability as you serve New Hampshire and the nation.
Well, it's an opportunity to raise the role of the United States around the world. And there are implications for us in New Hampshire for what we do internationally. We've seen it already this year with tariffs and what the president has done on tariffs. Every business that I've been in New Hampshire says that uncertainty around the tariffs is affecting their ability to do business. That increases prices for consumers, and so people are going to pay those costs. So there are direct connections between what happens in foreign policy and what we see domestically in the United States and in New Hampshire.
When it comes to Israel, we're seeing a number of different countries heading into these high-level meetings recognize the need for a Palestinian state. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's an expression of the frustration with the Netanyahu government because of the conduct of this war in Gaza, because of the people who are starving, because of their obstruction of humanitarian aid. Now that's gotten a little better in recent weeks, but there are still too many people who are on the verge of starvation, and we need to look at what comes next after the end of this war. I think the only solution long-term is a two-state solution, a state for Israel and a state for the Palestinians. And right now, everything Israel's doing is making that impossible.
It's in the title. These are high-level meetings. How do you make this matter? How do you connect it to what's going on back home in New Hampshire?
Well, again, I try and point out why it's in New Hampshire's interest and America's interest to have the United States continue its important role in the world. I think there is bipartisan agreement, and the Trump administration has talked about this, that our biggest competitor, both economically and militarily, is China. And yet so much of what President Trump's policies have done is embolden China rather than weaken China. We need to change that. That's one of the things we're going to look at here at the UN, where withdrawal from the UN, withdrawal from international organizations gives an opening to China that does not help the United States. And that's going to affect what we're paying for costs. It's going to affect the potential at some point in the future for military conflict. So none of that is in America's interests.